Hey everyone, welcome to another session of Nutshell User Hangouts. This one's going to be all focused on Google Apps, email, calendaring, and how you can be more productive together with Google and Nutshell. My name is Brian Kelly. I'm head of product here at Nutshell, and I'm coming at you live from Ann Arbor, Michigan. You might realize that I'm not Whitney, who was intended to be on today and will be here in 2 weeks. She was a little ill, so I couldn't get away from the camera for another edition. So I want to welcome also our co-host Dan Moshe, who's coming at us live from Minneapolis.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Brian. It's a pleasure to be here. Today we're going to be talking about that awesome, tight Google integration, which is one of my favorite aspects of Nutshell. When you put something in one place, it magically appears in both places: your calendar, your email, and in Nutshell. So we're gonna get started here.
Yeah, and I'll just remind everyone like the topics that we're going to be covering.
Right.
So most people here I know are existing Nutshell customers. Going forward, the Hangouts are going to be focused on folks who are already familiar with Nutshell. So it's not an intro in that part, but we'll be covering some introductory topics around getting all users in your organization into Nutshell, all things email, from single selective sync, two-way sync, getting your activities and meetings and tasks all in sync with Google Calendar and tasks, as well as importing contacts. And one other note that I wanted to make, live with me here in Ann Arbor have both Charles and Catherine from our awesome support team, who will be answering your questions live in chat. And I'll be taking some of those live and jumping in while Dan's going through his live demos. So if there's something specific you want to see covered, or you want to ask a question about something Dan's showing, jump right in and we'll do our best to get your question answered.
Right on. All right, thank you very much. So as Brian mentioned, we're going to be doing Google Apps today. So I think we're going to start with the first level of integration, which is an organization-wide synchronization of Google accounts. Adds the gadget to Gmail, and also allows single sign-on from all Google apps. The second level of integration is, as Brian said, the calendar integration, the two-way email synchronization, and even task synchronization as well. So let's get started. I'm going to get my screen share going here. As with all live demos, things can not work quite as expected, so always be patient with us. And here we go. I'm going to go ahead and sign into my Nutshell account, and I'm going to go ahead and get started with the all organization or organization-wide Google Apps integration. So that is available under Setup. Brian, you can see my screen, right?
Yeah, your screen's looking just fine. Maybe just bump up the text size a little bit.
Oh, right on. Thanks, bro.
Everyone can see it.
How's that?
Yeah,
all right. So things might look a little bit funky with that view, but let me know, Brian, if it doesn't look.
No,
clear.
looks great.
Thanks, man. All right. So I'm going to hit the gear on the left, and I'm going to go under third-party integrations and integrations. The first one listed is Nutshell and Google Apps. So what I'm going to do here is click Enable, and again, this is now going to take me to the Google Apps Marketplace. So you need to be a Google Apps admin for your domain, or have your Google Apps admin do this for you. Again, this affects every single user on your domain.
Yeah, and I'll just one comment on this. Users, you can certainly, if you're part of a Google Apps domain, you can set up Nutshell and use almost everything you're going to see today.
That's right.
Here without an admin. If you are an admin, you have a small company, one of the things that is helpful is that users can get the single sign-on functionality that Dan's going to show. So not explicitly required, but an added convenience so that people don't have to have yet another password.
That's right. That's right. And so as Brian mentioned, we'll get to that, the individual integration in just a moment. So I'll show you how to do this quick. It's super painless. So go ahead and click Install App. One thing you want to mention is make sure that you install this into the right Google Apps domain. If you're someone who manages multiple Google Apps domains, be sure that it's connecting to the right one. So because I am a Google Apps admin, and I cannot type my password and talk at the same time. I'm going to log in as the admin account. I'm going to agree to the terms of service, and you can see a little bit about what's going to be happening here, be able to send email on my behalf, etc. Going to hit accept, and then be sure to follow through with this next step to notify users. Click next, and then I'll be showing you where your users can do the single sign-on in a moment, but it's going to be under the Google App menu that's found on the top right corner of every single Google application. And then you can just launch the app. So this is pretty much instantaneous. So another option, the only option you actually can configure with this integration is whether or not you want all your Google Apps users to be able to use Nutshell, or if you'd like them to be manually enabled. I'd like everyone to go ahead and use Nutshell. So I hit save, and you can see that this has been successful. So I'm going to swing on back over to Nutshell and log back in, and let's take a look and see how that integration is working. So I'm going to take a look at my Gmail inbox. I'm going to go ahead and reload this just for good measure, and take a look at the app menu here and see as I scroll down under here, under even more from Google, is where the Nutshell app will show up. Occasionally this does take a few minutes, so I might come back and check this in, but this is where it will be. And again, the beauty of this is your users just click on this Nutshell app and or icon under the apps menu, and it logs them in directly. They don't even have to remember their Google Apps account password. Any questions on that, Brian, on the chat?
There's just one I saw came through from Heather, and maybe she can add on to what she's asking. She said, is there a way to add just a single user or groups of users through Gmail? Heather, are you referring to a Google Apps account or an individual personal Gmail account? If it's a personal Gmail account, you'll have to create the user in Nutshell. If it's Google Apps, you can create a specific organizational unit, say like you just want your sales team to have access, and configure it that way. So good question. Hopefully I answered it. If not, chime in and we'll clarify.
That's a great question. And Brian, I just brought up what it would look like and where you can manage those individual users under the system menu, users and teams.
Yeah, and it sounds like Heather was asking a specific team in the company, and so yes, Heather, Catherine, and Charles can add some additional pointers for you to see how you do that particular group in your company that is using Google Apps.
Awesome, awesome, great. Well, then let's take a look at the Google Calendar two-way synchronization and also the task synchronization. And this is what Brian was mentioning previously, in that you can use this, everyone in your organization can use this. You do not need to be a domain administrator, and this only affects your Google Calendar and your Nutshell account. So this time, to set up the calendar synchronization with Google, I'm going to click on my smiling face and click on integrations. That first option is sync Nutshell with Google. I hit enable, and I'm presented with a variety of options that I'm going to go through in just a moment. But first I'm going to hit save, and Google is now prompting me and asking if I'm okay with Nutshell having access to my email, contacts, tasks, and calendars. And I need to simply hit allow. So now I've got a confirmatory view over here on the right back here in Nutshell that the integration is connected, and if I ever needed to down the road, I could revoke access. So check this out. I'm able to check this box to sync activities with Google Calendar. By default, it's going to sync all activities, but you could make it select or synchronize only those marked important in Nutshell. And another thing you might want to take note of, if you do have multiple calendars, I only have one, but if you do happen to have multiple calendars, make sure that you sync the correct calendar that you'd like your Nutshell activities to sync with. So while that's turning on, I'm going to swing over and share with you a little bit about the difference between activities and tasks. This is something that comes up, a very common question that I talk about with my clients. And activities are things that are typically scheduled, and you have meetings or phone calls with other people. And that is compared to tasks, which are a to-do list. It's usually only one person is assigned to it, and it's just something that you need to get done. And tasks and activities synchronize with Google. Activities synchronize with your Google Calendar, and tasks synchronize with, you probably guessed it, the Google Task List. So now I'm going to roll up my sleeves here and try one of these and see if it works. And sometimes these integrations take just a few minutes to set up, so please bear with me in the event that it doesn't synchronize right away. But here I am over at Whitney's person page. I'm going to scroll down and schedule lunch with Whitney for, let's say, tomorrow, Friday the 22nd at noon p.m. and noon to 1. You may not know this, but you can change this description up here where the pencil is, and I'm going to call that a lunch meeting. Okay, and that is saved. I'll go ahead and change that meeting type to meeting. And I think I had mentioned previously that you can flag something, an appointment or an activity as important. And this is where you can do that. So if you flag this activity as important and you have that setting turned on to synchronize only important activities, then this is how you would signal Nutshell to synchronize this activity with your calendar. So I'm going to hit save here. One important thing to note is that this activity window does not automatically invite Whitney. It does not send a calendar invite to Whitney. So just wanted to make sure everybody was clear on that. So let's take a quick look at the calendar and see if it popped up. Sure looks like it. That's that meeting from 12 to 1, lunch meeting. It even shows Whitney's company, HealthNet. It's totally made up because we all know Whitney works at Nutshell. And if you click on that calendar invite, it shows other information in the description, and you can view this activity in Nutshell. And I'm sure you're wondering if it goes the other direction, and we did mention it was a 2-directional sync. So we're going to go ahead and set up a follow-up meeting on the next week, the 25th, for a meeting follow-up with Whitney. Now, to make this magic happen, the only thing that you need to do is enter an email address for Whitney in the guests section, and then Nutshell will cross-reference your calendar with your Nutshell account and see if this person is in your Nutshell account. If it is, if this person is, it will synchronize with Nutshell. So that's all you have to do. So hit save. I'm going to go ahead and send an invitation as I normally would. And then in a few minutes, I find that in this direction, it does take a couple of minutes to synchronize the other way. So we'll go ahead and come back to that. Any questions, Brian, on the chat on calendar?
Just one around tasks. Our friend Heather asked about Outlook tasks, and we do have the ability to sync with Outlook, even though this is all things Google. It's relevant communication tool to mention. It's a one-way sync with respect to Outlook. So any tasks you create will get added to your Outlook task list. So that was only one that popped up on chat in the last minute. I just wanted to comment that, yeah, you went through and demoed what I was going to bring up, which is if you do invite somebody from Google, it will know, Nutshell learns that, yes, that this meeting that you're scheduling with a customer is relevant to store as an activity in Nutshell. And so that's why it gets pulled in one way. The sending out part could be in part because when you create it in Nutshell, it doesn't send out to Google Calendar. You may want to change some of the language you include in that email invite because it's going directly to your customer, which is why it pulls from why it only sends out to the customer when you create it in Google Calendar itself. Yep.
Yeah, maybe you want to say here that be sure to ask about the TPS project. And that's a reminder to yourself. You don't necessarily want your contact to know that you're going to be following up on the TPS project. Great points. Thanks, Brian. So while that's waiting for that to synchronize, I will now show you how the task synchronization works. Hey, Brian, is the task synchronization with Google, is that also a two-way street? Is that bidirectional? Is that from Nutshell to Google? It is also bidirectional.
Yeah, the tasks will show as completed when you click on, whether you could click on completed in Nutshell or in your Google to-do list.
Awesome. So as you see on the page for Whitney here, I'm creating a new task, but as you all know, there are lots of ways to create new tasks, and I could do it from the top circle plus button as well. The important thing to do would be to just tag or include Whitney in this task here. So I'm going to follow up on the TPS report. I'd like to have this done by tomorrow at 11 a.m. I'm going to hit add, and I'll show you what this looks like over in Google. So as you know, in Google, there's two different ways to look at your tasks in the Gmail inbox. There's the task list that you can access from clicking mail. It shows up in the bottom right. You might wonder, hey, where's that task I synchronized? Well, Nutshell connects to a different task list, the Nutshell task list. So on the bottom right, you can click the little list button and choose the Nutshell task list. And here you can see literally almost instantaneously this task that I added over in Nutshell is added to Google Tasks, including a link which takes me to that task within Nutshell. And as promised, I'll swing over to Google Calendar, and I'll show you how to view your tasks in Google Calendar. I already have them showing, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn it off. Under Calendars, you can check the tasks quote-unquote calendar, even though it's not really a calendar, and then that will show tasks there in the right pane. Once again, be sure to make sure that you're showing the Nutshell task list, and it looks like it needed a refresh there, but that task came up. Now this is, oh, go ahead, Ryan.
Dan, just when you head back to Nutshell, a couple of folks in the chat had asked to see what this looks like in the user's personal dashboard.
All right, I'll swing back over there in 1 second. Thanks, Brian. So check this out. I'm going to check off in tasks in Google this to do, and again, this is all about saving you all time. If you only have to check off something once, and it reflects in two places. In your personal task list, this isn't shared with your team, but in Nutshell it is. And in Nutshell, you'll see, and everyone else will see that you followed up on that TPS report. So this is what tasks look like here in Whitney's person page. I'm gonna get rid of this up here to make it a little bit easier to see. So you'll scroll down a little bit, about a halfway down under activities, you'll see tasks. And you can click add a task under whatever task is listed there. Is that what the question was about? Okay.
Do you jump right to the person, or do you already go through the dashboard?
Oh yeah, good question.
Side?
Thank you very much. There's another way to view your tasks, and that is from the dashboard. And so here you can see all your upcoming steps in your sales process. We talked about sales process last time. And you see upcoming tasks, including the due date, who it's for, and when it's due. I said that already. Under activities, you also see upcoming scheduled activities. Now, once this activity has passed and it is now 12 or 1 p.m. Tomorrow, Friday, this will turn red, and that indicates to you that it's time to log that activity and note in Nutshell what you guys talked about and schedule any follow-up activities. Before we do email, Brian, any other questions on calendar or tasks?
Well, it looks like another Outlook question, and this is regarding synchronization with calendar, specifically with an Outlook calendar and your Nutshell activities. So David asked, what about syncing with an Outlook calendar? There is synchronization available. It will let you see an Outlook. Let's say you have Outlook synced with your phone, or it's what you rely on to send you alerts during the day. If you create an activity, you schedule a meeting in Nutshell, it will sync over to Outlook. That two-way sync functionality is not available. So yes, you'll still get your alerts, but it's not a bi-directional sync. It will sync from Nutshell to Outlook.
Sounds like we should have an Outlook all things Outlook at some point in the future. Great questions, everyone. Thanks. Keep them coming. Anything else we want to cover before we switch gears to, of course, email?
No, I think we're
Awesome.
good for, let's jump right into it.
Awesome. So there's a couple different ways to do email. I'm going to show you how to get started with Google, the Synchronize email. So go ahead and click on your face again, and click on integrations, and then click on email. Did I see that right? Can you go right to email? Oh yeah, or you could just click on email and go right to it if you want to do it the easy way. I've already got this turned on, so you can see some of my messages are coming in already, but I'm going to show you how to set this up. So what you do is check Enable Email Sync, and there's a couple things you need to decide. First, which messages would you like to synchronize? I have mine set up to sync all messages, so that way I don't have to specifically add a label within Gmail to have a message synchronize. Instead, everything comes in. But you might be saying, well, I don't want to share all those messages with my team necessarily. And so that's where the second question comes into play. What gets shared with your team? And you're in complete control of that. Just so we're clear, you are in complete control of what messages get shared with your team. And I'll demonstrate that in just a moment. So you can decide whether only messages to or from an existing Nutshell contact are automatically shared with your team. So that means, in the example we've been using today, messages to and from Whitney, because she's in Nutshell, would automatically be shared with my Nutshell team. Or you can say none, and then you will have to specifically and explicitly share messages with your team. Don't worry, I'm going to explain, or I'm going to show you all of this. And of course, if there is someone who you email with that you'd rather not have any of those emails be imported into Nutshell, simply enter their email addresses in the list provided under email blacklist. So I'm going to go ahead and hit, I don't even need to hit save, that's automatically saved. So on the first tab, inbox, I can see a view of all of my messages from Gmail. And as I'd mentioned, messages that are not from a person in my Nutshell account are not shared with my team. And that is indicated with a gray hashed outline. So that means that I can, or how do I say this? I'm the only one that can see these messages. Me and only me, as I was going to say, but I don't think that's proper English.
Yeah,
anyway.
no, that's right. There's about 3 or 4 different ways to share messages with everyone, and Dan just showed you if you enable it, this is sort of some default settings. If the person's not currently in Nutshell, it won't share by automatically. Mm-hmm. And you can either share it by clicking on the green button that you see as mouse hovered over right now, or perhaps Dan will also show the widget in Gmail, which lets you do the same thing.
Right on. So when I clicked share this person with everyone, a couple things happened kind of simultaneously behind the scenes. Number one, a person was created for Sally, and now on Sally's page, that message is visible. And you know it's visible to your whole team because along the left is the red, white, and blue postal colors. So I'll show you another example a little further down. So here's a message from Whitney, where she emailed me on the 19th. This message was automatically shared with everyone because she was already in my Nutshell account as a person.
Dan, while you're going through this, I do want to address a couple of questions that came up in chat regarding if you're using Outlook just as a client to Gmail, like you're actually, your organization's using Google Apps, but you happen to be comfortable with using Outlook to access Gmail. Mm-hmm. So in that scenario, you can actually do the full 2-way sync.
Yep.
As long as the provider, your company provides Gmail. So if you've ever logged into Gmail to get your mail, but you use Outlook on day-to-day, perhaps, to access it, everything that we're showing from the 2-way sync end-to-end capabilities are available. It's a little confusing to peel back each of those layers, but if your company is using Google for mail and you're using Outlook, just know that everything that we're talking about as being a Google-specific thing will actually work for you, even though you're using Outlook as the client.
Cool. All right. So Brian, I'm going to try to do the Nutshell integration at the Google Apps level one more time, and I see that it didn't quite work, and I'm not sure if I need to log out or back in or whatever I need to do, but I'm going to give it one more try so I can show the widget that shows up in my Gmail account, because it hasn't showing up at this time. If Brian, you want to share your screen, you're more than welcome to. Otherwise, we can follow up afterwards. So
I
let's
see.
Yeah.
And you enabled it for all users, and you've refreshed?
Yeah, I think I did. So everyone, once in a while, this can happen, where in a nutshell, something doesn't work quite the way you might, especially if there's an integration involved. So don't hesitate to contact technical support. And this is one thing I love about Nutshell, is they're just a chat box away. So here in the top right corner, there's the question mark. And as soon as you hit the question mark, Nutshell has coded this really quite brilliantly. As soon as you hit the question mark, there's the chat with us box that shows up on the bottom. And as soon as you start typing, you're immediately connected with one of the really helpful technical support people at Nutshell. You can also check out the knowledge base too. There's some really great articles in here about the Google Apps integration, so you can learn more beyond what we're able to cover in our very short amount of time here.
Yeah, and if you want, Dan, I can do a quick just showing of the widget on.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
That sounds great.
Thank you. Try to do this swap in real time here. So I just want to show everyone, this is my account here in Nutshell, and there's somebody here that I met recently has emailed me. The widget down here is what Dan was referring to. So you can actually add a person directly from there, add a company that will be referenced in Nutshell, and I'll go and bring up Dan's account so you can see what this looks like for people that are already in Nutshell. And you can see right here that because I loaded this message from Dan, that his Nutshell contact information shows up below the message. And if I wanted to add this one message to Nutshell, let's say I wasn't syncing everything, if I just click add message, it will then go and get saved into Nutshell. So that's exactly what Dan was about to show you until the demo gods weren't with us. So we'll switch it back over to you, Dan.
All right, sweet. I'm going to show you one last really cool way to import mail messages into Nutshell, and that is using what's called blind carbon copy. So in the event that you're in your Gmail inbox and you want to send a message to someone, but you know that person is not in Nutshell, and I think actually, Brian, that counts for you. And I know that's not your real email address. I can't remember it off the top of my head. But what you can do is BCC. And so you just send a message, or you blind carbon copy. That's what BCC stands for. BCC at nutshell.com, and include the subject of hello or whatever it is. This message, without Brian knowing, is automatically being created in Nutshell, and a new person is automatically created for Brian as well as soon as I hit send. So it's just one other handy way to get messages into Nutshell if you happen to not be using the two-way synchronization. I want to show one more thing quick, Brian, before we wrap, and that is how easy it is to import your contacts from your Google account. At this time, Nutshell doesn't automatically synchronize contacts from Google Contacts, but you can do an import as many times and as frequently as you'd like. And that is under the gear menu, under Setup, and then there is Third Party, choose Import, and you can see a bunch of different places that Nutshell can grab contacts from. Again, this is a one-time import, so just choose Google. Your Google account is automatically selected. Hit Next, and you are prompted to pick which list you'd like to import. I don't have very many friends, apparently only 3. So I would hit Begin Import, and all 3 of my contacts would be imported within the next couple of minutes. That's what we wanted to cover today, Brian. Any last questions or thoughts as we say goodbye to our friends?
There's a good one here that just came in a minute ago from Joel asking about Google Inbox support. And yes, this would work in conjunction with Google Inbox. Sort of like I was describing earlier, the Outlook example, no matter how you're accessing your mail, whether it's through Google Inbox or Gmail client or Outlook, all these capabilities would be available to you.
And the one thing, Brian, that I think does not yet or not supported in the Google Inbox app is I think that widget that you showed us previously. I don't think you can get the widget in Inbox. Is that correct?
Correct. Yes.
Okay, cool.
There is some things in the works, but no, nothing to share with that. And there was a follow-up question. Let's see. So Kevin is asking, I understand Google Inbox example I was giving, but can the Nutshell inbox ever be cleaned up? The short answer there, Kevin, is that if you're not using any of the automatic sync, or if you're only synchronizing your contacts that are coming in via the emails that are coming in that aren't currently contacts, there's no really way to clear all of those out. And in day-to-day use, you would actually go and only want to share ones that were recently, or you might go back and search through that and say, oh, I wanted to share this explicit message. So while it might seem odd that you can't just clear out that inbox, that's actually the intention is not that you are in that inbox all of the time.
That's right. That's right. And that's a really good point, and I'd like to make that here as we wrap, is that only messages going forward and a calendar appointments going forward are synchronized. Past ones are not synchronized when you first set up this integration. Cool. Anything else you want to cover? Otherwise, I'd love to invite everyone to our upcoming Hangout. We're going to be talking all about people. Can you tell us about it, Brian?
Yeah, sure. So, and we actually had a question sort of related to this from
Nice.
Larry asking about API creation for Zendesk. So this next one is not going to cover Zendesk, Larry, but it is going to cover integrations with a couple external tools, including Wufoo Forms. So it's all going to be about getting people into the system into Nutshell, whether it is through forms and then organizing them with custom, using tags and custom fields. What else, Dan? We have a couple other areas that we were going to be covering in that.
Yep, tags and custom fields, and being able to organize and slice and dice your information of your people. So we're going to be helping you get people in and use that information to fuel your sales pipeline.
Exactly. Yeah. So coming out of the previous discussion around intro to Nutshell and then the sales process, we realized, hey, there's a huge organization tool here that a lot of people are using to automatically collect leads off their website and then to organize them based on all different kinds of categories. And so in 2 weeks from today, same time, we'll be going through that in detail. And if any of your questions today didn't get answered, as you know, Kath and Charles have been answering them live, but if you have a question, just click the question mark. I'll show it up here on the screen. If you can see it, it's pretty small. The question mark in the upper right-hand corner of your screen when you're logged in to Nutshell, and click Contact Our Team. That's the easiest way to send us a ticket. You can even capture a screenshot of what you're looking at to help describe it to the support team, and we'll be happy to help you out.
Fantastic. Brian, always a pleasure. Thanks, everyone. Have a great rest of your week.
Yeah, thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.